Hey NFL fans! Welcome back to Dallas Cowboys Today, news where we break down the biggest, wildest, and most jaw-dropping news in the football world. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you don't miss a single update, and let's dive into what might just be the craziest day of the NFL offseason yet. Today, we've got not one but two massive stories that are shaking the league to its core. We're talking about a blockbuster trade pitch that could send Seattle Seahawks superstar DK Metcalf to the Dallas Cowboys, and a stunning report that New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr is walking away from the game for good. Let's get it. First up, let's head to Dallas, where the rumor mill is spinning faster than a tornado in Texas. The Cowboys are no strangers to big moves, but this one could change everything. According to sources close to the situation, there's a trade pitch on the table that would bring none other than DK Metcalf, the Seattle Seahawks' freakishly athletic wide receiver, to Arlington. Yeah, you heard that right, DK Metcalf, the 6'4", 235-pound monster who's been torching defenses since he entered the league, could be rocking the star on his helmet soon. This isn't just some random speculation floating around on social media. Insiders are saying this trade idea is gaining serious traction in front office circles, and the Cowboys are listening. Jerry Jones, the man who loves a splashy move, is reportedly intrigued, and for good reason. Let's break down why this potential deal has Cowboys Nation losing their minds. DK Metcalf is a game changer, plain and simple. The dude is a physical specimen. He's got the size of a tight end, the speed of a sprinter, and the hands to make contested catches look effortless. Since being drafted in the second round by Seattle in 2019, he's racked up over 4,000 receiving yards and 35 touchdowns, and he's only 26 years old. This guy is in the prime of his career, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. In 2024, despite some ups and downs with Seattle's offense, Metcalf still put up 900-plus yards and 8 touchdowns. He's the kind of player who demands double coverage, stretches the field, and makes life miserable for defensive coordinators. Now, imagine him lining up opposite CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys' all-pro receiver who's already one of the best in the game. That's a nightmare for any secondary. The Cowboys' offense is already loaded with talent. You've got Dak Prescott, one of the league's most consistent quarterbacks, throwing to Lamb, who just keeps getting better every year. Add in a reliable tight end like Jake Ferguson and a solid running game led by Ezekiel Elliott, and Dallas has the pieces to be elite. But there's always been that one missing ingredient, a true WR2, who can take the pressure off Lamb and open up the playbook. Enter DK Metcalf. His ability to win one-on-one matchups, go up for 50-50 balls, and take a short slant to the house would give Dallas the kind of firepower they haven't had since the days of Dez Bryant. Pairing Metcalf with Lamb would create a receiving duo that could rival any in the NFL from A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith in Philly to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in Miami. Defenses would have to pick their poison, and good luck with that. So why is Seattle even considering moving a player like Metcalf? It's not because they don't love him. The Seahawks are in a transitional phase. They've got a new head coach in Mike Macdonald, a young quarterback room with Geno Smith and Sam Howell, and a roster that's trying to balance veteran contracts with long-term flexibility. Metcalf's cap hit for 2025 is a hefty $21 million, and while he's worth every penny, Seattle's front office is reportedly open to listening to offers if it means they can stockpile draft picks and younger talent. The Seahawks are also dealing with some big contracts, like safety Jamal Adams and defensive lineman Leonard Williams, which are eating into their cap space. Trading Metcalf could give them the financial wiggle room to rebuild around their core while adding assets for the future. For Dallas, the financial side of things isn't a deal-breaker. The Cowboys have about $20 million in cap space for 2025, and with the NFL salary cap expected to rise again next year, they've got options. They could restructure contracts for players like Dak Prescott or Zach Martin to free up more room. There's also talk of including a player or two in the trade to make the numbers work. Names like cornerback Kelvin Joseph and defensive tackle Osa Odigizua have been floated as possible pieces, though nothing is confirmed. Jerry Jones has never been shy about spending money to win, and with Metcalf still in his prime, this feels like the kind of move that could define the Cowboys' Super Bowl window. The timing of this trade pitch couldn't be more critical for Dallas. The Cowboys are coming off yet another disappointing playoff exit in 2024, losing in the divisional round to the Green Bay Packers. The pressure is on like never before. Dak Prescott's contract is a constant topic of conversation, with his cap hit ballooning in the final year of his deal. Mike McCarthy's seat is hotter than a Texas summer, and the NFC East is only getting tougher with the Eagles and Commanders both making strides. If Dallas wants to prove they're serious about contending, they can't just sit back and hope for the best. Bringing in Metcalf would send a clear message to the rest of the league. The Cowboys are all in for 2025, and they're not afraid to swing big. Let's take a step back and think about what this trade would mean for the Cowboys' identity. Dallas has always been about flash, swagger, and offensive dominance. From the days of Roger Staubach to Troy Aikman to Tony Romo, the Cowboys have thrived when they've had playmakers who can take over games. Metcalf embodies that spirit. He's not just a great player, he's a competitor who plays with an edge. He's physical, he talks trash, and he backs it up on the field. Cowboys fans would eat that up. Plus, his ability to open up the run game by drawing coverage deep would make life easier for Zeke and Rico Dowdle. Even the tight ends, like Ferguson, would see more single coverage over the middle. This isn't just about adding a player, it's about transforming the entire offense. Of course, there are risks. Metcalf's cap hit is significant, and committing to a big contract for him could limit Dallas's ability to address other roster holes. There's also the question of whether he'd mesh with the locker room. Metcalf has a big personality, and while that's part of what makes him great, it could create challenges if things don't gel. And let's not forget about the draft picks. Giving up a first-rounder is no small thing, especially for a team that's been criticized for not building through the draft enough. But when you weigh the pros and cons, it's hard to argue against going for it. The Cowboys are in win-now mode, and Metcalf could be the piece that finally gets them over the hump. Derek Carr's career has been a wild ride. Drafted in the second round by the Oakland Raiders in 2014, he quickly established himself as one of the league's most promising young quarterbacks. He made 4 Pro Bowls, threw for over 35,000 yards, and showed incredible durability, playing in 15 or more games in each of his first 10 seasons. But things took a turn in his final year with the Raiders in 2022. After a messy divorce with the team, he hit free agency and landed with the Saints, who were hoping he could fill the void left by Drew Brees. So, why is Carr retiring? According to reports, it's all about that shoulder injury. Sources say Carr has been dealing with a labral tear and degenerative changes in his rotator cuff, which would require surgery and likely sideline him for the entire 2025 season. Rather than go through a grueling rehab process with no guarantee of returning to form, Carr decided to hang up his cleats. The implications for New Orleans are massive. The Saints are now without a starting quarterback, and their options are limited. Jameis Winston, who backed up Carr in 2024, is no longer with the team after signing with the Cleveland Browns in free agency. The roster includes young quarterbacks like Jake Heiner and Spencer Rattler, but neither has shown they're ready to take the reins. Heiner, a 2023 fourth-round pick, has barely seen the field, and Rattler, a 2024 fifth-rounder, went 0-6 in spot starts last season. The Saints also drafted Louisville's Tyler So in the second round of the 2025 draft, and while he's got potential, he's a 25-year-old rookie who's still learning the ropes. Head coach Kellen Moore has said all 3 QBs will compete for the starting job, but that's not exactly inspiring confidence. This puts the Saints in a tough spot. They've got a roster built to win now, with veterans like Alvin Kamara, Cam Jordan, and Demario Davis. But without a quarterback, they're staring at a potential rebuild. The free agent market isn't exactly overflowing with options. Aaron Rodgers is still out there, but he's 41 and coming off a rough season with the Jets. Kirk Cousins is another name being floated, but he's 27. $5 million salary and the draft capital it would take to trade for him make that a long shot. Joe Flacco, who's been mentioned as a possible trade target from Cleveland, could be a stopgap, but he's 40 and on the verge of retirement himself. The Saints might have to lean on So or Rattler and hope one of them steps up, but that's a risky bet for a team that was expecting to contend. So, how does this tie back to the Cowboys? At first glance, it might seem unrelated, but there's a connection. With Carr retiring, Dak Prescott's value just went through the roof. The pool of experienced quarterbacks is shrinking, and teams that might have considered trading for a veteran are now looking at a barren market. This gives Dak and his camp even more leverage in contract negotiations. His current deal runs through 2025, but with a cap hit of over $40 million, the Cowboys will need to extend him soon to free up space. If Dallas lands Metcalf, it's a clear signal they're building around Dak for the long haul, and they'll need to lock him up to keep the window open. Carr's retirement also affects the NFC South, where the Saints were seen as a potential dark horse. Without a clear QB, New Orleans could take a step back, which is good news for teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Atlanta Falcons. For Dallas, this means one less contender to worry about in the NFC, but it also underscores the urgency to capitalize on their current roster. The Cowboys have a talented core, from Micah Parsons on defense to Lamb, and now potentially Metcalf on offense. With the NFC wide open, teams like the 49ers and Eagles have their own question marks. This could be Dallas's best shot at a Super Bowl in years. For Cowboys fans, the next 72 hours are going to be crucial. Insiders say the Metcalf trade pitch is expected to be formalized soon, and discussions could heat up fast. Social media is already buzzing with mock trade proposals, fan-made jersey edits, and hot takes about what this means for Dallas. Twitter is flooded with posts like, "DK and Dallas? Let's go." And "Jerry, make it happen." YouTube comments and Reddit threads are blowing up with debates about whether the Cowboys should give up a first-rounder or hold firm. The energy is electric, and you can feel the anticipation building. Before we wrap up, let's talk about what this means for you, the fans. If you're a Cowboys supporter, are you all in on the Metcalf trade? Would you give up a first-round pick, or do you think it's too steep? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I want to hear what Cowboys Nation is thinking. And if you're a Saints fan, how are you processing Carr's retirement? Are you ready to rally behind So or Rattler? Or do you want New Orleans to make a big splash in free agency? Let's get the conversation going. That's it for today's breaking news, but we're just getting started. The NFL offseason is heating up, and we'll be here every step of the way with the latest updates, analysis, and reactions. If you loved this deep dive, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more NFL content. We're dropping new videos all the time, so hit that bell to stay in the loop. Until next time, keep it locked on the channel, and let's see how this wild offseason plays out. Peace out.